My crazy religious mother thinks I'm a Satan worshiper. My mother divorced my father after finding him smoking grass. This was grounds for divorce to her. She also ended up getting custody of me, which meant hell on earth. I was 16 when I went to live with her, and in her religious house, I had no video games, no TV shows, but at least I was allowed a phone. Also, strictly no girls. She told me countless times that if she ever caught me with a girl she would make me regret it, and would point at a wooden paddle. Not like I could ever get girls anyway, I wasn't very attractive, and due to isolation enforced by my mother, had no friends or social skills. I attended a Catholic school and was very interested in girls. I also had a crush, a girl named Jenny. Her massive honkers were of interest to me. However, I had no hope as I was very unattractive. My face riddled with acne, my slim body and greasy hair, caused by my mother forbidding shampoo in the house. I tried asking Jenny out, via text, without my mom's knowledge. Jenny screenshotted this message. Unbeknownst to me, Jenny's mother was friends with my mother, and Jenny was also a religious nut. She showed her mom the message who showed mine. My mother laid the smack down on me with the wooden paddle. If you were to look at my backside only, you could easily mistake me for Michael Blackson. I never told anyone what happened, as I was scared by my mother. She also took my phone away for 3 months as punishment, and it so happened to be summer break. Nothing eventful happened in the 3 months and I got my phone back at the start of the year. When I came back, I noticed one of the boys in my class had gotten way more handsome, no homo, so I asked him how his face changed so much. He told me about a book with a skull on it which makes you more handsome, called Facial Gains. That had my attention. He also told me that this guide was digital, and I could easily hide it from my mother. This boy was one of the few people I could consider somewhat close. That night I bought my own copy of this guide. I started using it and my face started changing. My mother noticed and asked me about it, to which I claimed I didn't know what she was on about. Well, after using this book for a little while, the changes on my posture, my face, even physique were a little different. My mother kept asking me and was really pressing the issue, but I never told her. Well, then it happened. I came home from school one day to find her holding my phone, her eyes red with previously shed tears. I effing knew it, she shrieked. You're a Satanist. My son is a Satanist. I was shocked, no cursing was a strict rule in this house. Before I could ask her what this was about, she pulled out my phone and showed me she had found the digital guide. It's black, her voice wretched. With a skull on it. A skull. Oh God, please forgive my foolish son. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, a grown woman dropping to her knees and yelling at God for finding a book with a skull. And look at it, this is why you stand so straight now, why your jaw is so much sharper, why your whole demeanor has changed. You're straying. After everything I've done. In the middle of her rant, she suffered a panic attack and I had to call the hospital. She was taken away, and I came with her. Thankfully she was okay, but I made the decision to go stay with my older brother, who took me in. I thought this was the end of it, but I couldn't have been more wrong. My crazy religious mother thinks I'm a Satan worshiper. My mother stayed in the hospital overnight after having a panic attack and realizing I'm a Satanist. During the night, I snuck out with my belongings to my brother's house, and left a note for her. It explained to her that my Facial Gains guide was just a book to improve my appearance, the skull on it did not mean I worshipped Satan, and that I planned to stay with my brother for a little while and she better not contact me. That last part was a mistake. The day of moving to my brother's, who I have a very good relationship with and he was happy to take me in, my mother shows up looking angrier than a blue-hair girl after seeing someone lip-sync the N-word. My brother opened the door and she instantly started spouting accusations. Claiming that I'm a disgrace to God, claiming that she was not falling for my lies and still insisting on me being a Stan worshipper. She went further to claim I made a literal deal with the devil, and that's why my face and physique look better. My brother laughed at her and shut the door. She stayed outside yelling for a couple of minutes before we threatened to call the police. Well, the next day she came back, and everything was a repeat. Alongside her came Jenny's mother. The Jenny who I had a crush on, the girl who screenshot my message of her asking me out, and word got back to my mother leaving me grounded and without a phone for the whole summer break. Now, the two evil hags were standing there like Dumb and Dumber in their religious outfits claiming that I was indeed a Satanist. Jenny's mother actually threatened to press charges against me for trying to seduce Jenny, and that is apparently illegal. Illegal in what way? Asked my brother. Illegal in the eyes of God, she replied. Once again my brother laughed and shut the door. The whole time I was at my brother's he was very supportive and I told him in detail everything my mother had put me through. He told me not to worry and he would take care of everything. It should come as no surprise that the day after my mother me back again. This time, she took a different approach. She was super sweet, and asked to see me and to be let into the house. She sounded so harmless, but my brother didn't let her in, however I did tell her I'd be willing to stand outside and talk to her. Throughout our conversation, she kept begging me to confess to making a deal with Satan, literally got on her knees to beg me to confess, and I stood there in shock. After a full hour she slapped my face and grabbed my hand to start dragging back into her car. I was able to free myself and ran into the house. Once again, the only thing that got her to go away was the threat of phoning the police. My brother and I talked that night and he said that maybe it would be a lot easier if I just confessed to her. Maybe the realization I'm a Satanist would finally get her to leave me alone. So that was the plan. I called her, and told her to come down. I have to admit something. She showed up and I delivered my whole prepared speech. I acted it all out and pretended to her that I did indeed make a deal with the devil to make me more handsome, that the Facial Gains guide she found also had a secret chapter in it containing spells and chants to communicate with the devil. I was Leonardo DiCaprio for these 30 minutes. Throughout the conversation, she wept, she cried, she laid hands on me, but at the very end, I asked her if she wanted to say anything to me. She just left, she turned around and left. I swear I'm gonna do something about this. A week later, I heard nothing from her, then I got a message from my aunt. It was a link to a church converting Satanists back to normal ways. I ignored it. Then a message from my other aunt. Then my uncle. Then the social media bashing started, and by the end of the month, everyone in the town thought that I was a Satan worshipper. I was. Infuriated, my plan backfired with the fury of 1,000 suns. Pretty soon, I got expelled from my Catholic school. The principal said they simply couldn't ignore the things said about me by my family on social media. So there I was, left with my PP in my hand. Well, I suppose that's not exactly accurate. To blow off steam, I went to my older brother's college party, and there I ran into Jenny's older sister. We were both intoxicated, and by the end of the night, it was in Jenny's sister's hand too.